Welcome to Wellness Made Easy. Today, Larry Logsdon joins Dr. Bob Martin, host of the nation's largest weekend syndicated health talk show, to take on a widespread issue: acid reflux, heartburn, and GERD. Are over-the-counter drugs really helping or hiding the deeper damage? And what natural alternatives are people turning to for real relief? If you've ever struggled with stomach discomfort or know someone who does, this conversation could be a turning point.
Now we're going to turn our attention to an important topic that affects millions, tens of millions of people. And it has to do with heartburn and acid reflux, acid indigestion, a condition called GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease. A lot of people have trouble with this condition and suffer greatly with it. And many of them don't really know what to do. I mean, nobody wants to have pain and discomfort, so you do what you have to do. You go get relief. You do that either over the counter or you do it through prescription drug through your doctor, because who wants to suffer? However, what if I told you that that very class of drugs that you may be taking, or you know somebody who you love is taking, for acid reflux or sour stomach or heartburn or whatever, what if I told you that the drugs, when used in a consistent basis, can put you in the crosshairs of developing other problems that you certainly don't want, like headaches, migraine headaches? It can increase your risk of dementia, basically losing your mind and your ability to know who you are or where you're at or what's going on. And it can also increase your risk of fracture, because we know that if you're on them long enough, they weaken your bones and put you in a place of a high risk of fracture. It's true. Millions of people are taking these drugs without having that information disclosed to them because, well, maybe they don't even want it, because all they're worried about is their burning stomach. And I completely understand that, because we try to move away from discomfort. We try to move away from pain. But I dare say the average person would attract towards a more kind and gentle alternative, a solution, if they knew one existed for their acid reflux, for their heartburn, for their GERD, for their stomach problems. They just don't know. Well, we're here to inform you. That's what this show is all about. Be your own doctor, best doctor most of the time. And these drugs I'm talking about, and I don't mind naming names, you probably will recognize some. You see them on television all the time. And the reason you see so many of them on television is because there are so many people who have the problem. And so they know to go out and market those drugs like Prilosec and Nexium and Prilosec and Tagamet and Pepsid and all these other antacids, whether they be over-the-counter or prescription. They're all in the same category. And yet you have these researchers saying, okay, hold on. Did you know that it's fine to take these drugs? They're supposed to be taken, if at all, on a short-term basis. And when you take them on a long-term basis, you end up with, well, the problems that I mentioned and many others associated with it. We don't want that. And we're here to inform you about there are options. And that leads me to our special guest. His name is Larry Logsdon. He's a functional food researcher specializing in the medicinal properties and benefits of exotic fruits. Larry founded Tahiti Trader Noni Juice Company back in 1998. I invited him back on the program to talk about this because the last time we discussed it, we had such an amazing reaction from our audience that we said, okay, 2.0, Larry. Thank you, Larry, for agreeing to come on the show again, sir.
Hello, Dr. Bob. It's a pleasure to be here with you. And you are so right. We have had so many people call, said, oh, my God, I didn't know there was a solution other than those pills.
Yes, the pills, the potions, the powders that are given to people as the, Hail Mary, kind of a last ditch. Okay, here's what's going to solve the problem. And not even really talking about the solution. So I want to just begin with how prevalent this problem is, Larry. How is there a quantifiable number that we're aware of people who suffer from acid reflux, heartburn, or GERD?
Well, so far, there seems to be around 20% of the U.S. population that's affected by it. Actually, that's just the part that we know about. There's a whole load more that go to the over-the-counter section and buy it because they have occasional problems. So it's probably maybe 30, 40, maybe 50%.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard all kinds of crazy numbers, like 70 million Americans, 80 million Americans who have it. Now they may not have it, on a constant chronic basis, but there's a good number, millions of people who do. They suffer on a chronic basis. And of course, their doctors are saying, look, you need to do something about this, because that acid needs to stay in your stomach, not in your esophagus. It'll burn a hole in your stomach. It'll create these conditions that erode the mucosal lining of the esophagus. It can even get into your lungs and even erode your teeth, because it'll reflux all the way up into that area. So it is a serious problem. We need to take it seriously, and we need to do something about it. But in my mind, Larry, just treating the symptom of the problem doesn't make it for me. I've been trained in cause and effect, meaning get to the cause of the problem and you'll solve it, and you will set the person free so they can be self-sufficient for the rest of their lives, as opposed to give them something that's a Band-Aid, kick the can down the road, put frosting on burnt cake, or paint over termites. No. That's not something I like to do unless there's no other options. And in this case, there's lots of options. And that's what we want to get to today. Let's talk about acid reflux, heartburn, and that condition they call GERD, G-E-R-D. What does that stand for, Larry? Anyway.
Well, it's gastroesophageal reflux disease is just one of those acronyms they've come up with, Dr. Bob.
Mm-hmm. And what causes these problems like acid reflux?
Well, there's a lot of issues. There's folks who are overweight. That's a big one. People who have got hiatal hernias have that problem. Folks who have a lot of anxiety and worry a lot sometimes have that problem. It usually has to do with a lot of gut pressure that's been placed on the abdominal area of your stomach, and it just increases the likelihood you're going to have a GERD problem.
Mm-hmm. I've also heard that people who have heartburn and acid indigestion, because the World Health Organization reports that about 60% of all humans have a bacterium, which we get because of undercooked foods, or we kiss somebody that has it, it's passed on to us. Something called H. pylori, or Helicobacter pylori. It's a bacterium that can absolutely, when it gets into the stomach lining, it can cause the stomach to start producing acids to try to destroy it, but it really never gets done because it burrows deep into the lining of the stomach, so the person just keeps, making all that acid, and they want relief, and that's why they go for the drugs at their doctor's offices.
That's so true, because H. pylori is a whole another animal, and most folks don't realize. I believe chicken is one of the areas where you can find that, and that's why we always say cook the heck out of your chicken. Same thing's true with pork products, and not so much with beef, but those are the ones that I've known.
Well, you heard me. I ran through the list of these medical medications, drugs that are used for the condition. And nobody's going to argue the fact that these petrochemical drugs do have an effect on blocking or stopping or interfering with the process by which stomach acid is made in the little hydrochloric acid cells area. But it really doesn't address, again, back to cause and effect, what the problem is, which are these issues you pointed out, including the hernia, which can be corrected safely and naturally with a stretching technique that most chiropractors and naturopaths and massage therapists know about, and also correcting their lifestyle in terms of what they are eating and trying to manage the Helicobacter. Well, Larry, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, I want to then jump right in to suggest that people do to help themselves out so that maybe we can extricate some people here today. We're not going to tell people to stop their drugs. That's a decision we'll have to make. But what if, just what if, ladies and gentlemen, there is something that exists that can help you solve the problem, not just cover it up. We'll be back with that answer for acid reflux, heartburn, GERD, all of that, stomach problems after these messages. Stay tuned. You are tuned into the Dr. Bob Martin Show. All right, our special guest with us is Larry Logsdon. And Larry Logsdon is a prolific researcher, always looking for ways to help humanity solve health-related problems safely, naturally, drug-free. He's here today talking about a very widespread problem if you're just tuning into the program. A lot of people have heartburn, they have acid reflux and acid indigestion, stomach problems, gastroesophageal reflux disease, the GERD. And of course, the only mechanism that they know to help themselves, the only relief that they have heard about or receive is through medications, through drugs, either over the counter or prescription, which unfortunately just treat symptoms, not causes, and they never solve the problem. Then they just have to keep taking them. And the long-term use of these drugs, as I started out saying at the very beginning, lots of them, you should look it up before you believe me, but I can tell you that the latest finding is about how these drugs cause migraine headaches, dementia, bone fractures, you name it. They can cause it because they were never designed to be taken long term. That's more than like maybe 3 to 5 days, 7 days at the very most, until you say to yourself, oh, here's how I got there. Oh, I think I'll remove that from my repertoire, from my lifestyle. Well, we'll get back to Larry momentarily. And luckily, Larry sent to me an amazing testimonial of an individual by the name of Dan Jones, 75 years young, who was having trouble with acid reflux and GERD, was diagnosed with it chronically, tried everything, really to no avail. And then he ran across something safe, natural, efficacious, science-based. That something was Tahiti Trader Noni Juice. And I'm going to play for you, before I bring Larry back into the conversation, this amazing testimonial of Dan Jones and his story, how he solved this problem. Go.
Hello. Is that you, Dan?
Yeah, that's me.
Hey, it's Larry over at Tahiti Trader. I heard that you've been using our stuff for a while.
Yes, I actually started with the Tahitian Noni many years ago, and I had really great results because I had severe acid reflux. And ever since then, I've been taking it. And then I started buying your brand sometime several years ago. It's a better cost. It's as good a product, I think, and I get the good results too. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. You started drinking Noni juice because you had some acid reflux, huh?
Yes, GERD, which was I had very severe GERD.
Really?
I had been in the emergency room numbers of time with it, and nothing helped me. No over the counter, no prescription drugs. And a nurse told me about Noni juice, and she tried that for your digestion, for everything. And it was the first thing that actually stopped it. And I tried of everything, and that was about 25 years ago or longer. Yeah, I've been drinking it that long.
Wow, I've been drinking it a while myself. I started in about 94, 95. I started drinking it because I was making it for a lot of folks, and so that's how I got started.
Making it. Oh, well, I feel honored.
Shannon mentioned that you also do personal training.
Yes, I do.
Guess you're not a young fella anymore either.
I'm 75. Don't take any kind of prescription drugs, don't have any major ailments, going on. But I think the Noni juice had a lot to do with it because I drink it every single day. And, I think it's been a big part of my supplement regimen. Hey, I get energy from it. I know the antioxidants good, keeps my blood pressure in check because I don't have high blood pressure. All of those things, I think it's contributed. Yeah, definitely. And my acid reflux, completely eliminated. That's why I drink it every day. So anytime I have any, just acid indigestion or reflux, I just drink the Noni, and within a very short time, it takes it away. Yeah, amazing to me.
Well, beyond the fact that this individual, Dan, who's 75 years young, the fact that he got rid of his acid reflux, he's on 0 drugs, folks, 75. This is certainly atypical, not typical. Larry, thank you for sending that over to me. And I know that people are going to be running to find out how to get a hold of Tahiti Trader Noni Juice, because I think a good number of them listening to the sound of my voice right now may have acid reflux or know somebody who has acid indigestion or heartburn or whatever. So I want to make sure that people know how to obtain Tahiti Trader Noni Juice. Can be found at finer health food stores nationwide. Folks, we're talking about GNC, Whole Foods, Sprouts. You can also go to their website at TahitiTrader.com, TahitiTrader.com for more information. And the good news is, Larry, can we also offer the same special pricing and also the special that you mentioned, the last program that we did on this, which blew up and everybody took advantage of it. And that's why we're doing it 2.0 again.
Absolutely, Dr. Bob. We want to give the same offer to everyone today. We have a special, Dr. Bob Martin special. Look for it on our website. You're getting 2 bottles, very special price, and very cool measured shot glass, which you'll know how much to drink. Our new book, which is called Building Amazing Immune System, and all that with free shipping. You gotta love it.
Now, Larry, people are going to say by now, well, how do we know this works? Is it too simple? Now, obviously, folks, we're not saying there's no panacea out there. The takeaway should be that there are many things that can cause acid indigestion, reflux, heartburn, GERD, all that, like, eating too much at a meal and lying down immediately, say hello to a hiatal hernia and jamming that gravity in that full stomach up into your esophagus. That's not a good thing. Eat slower, chew your food better, don't smoke cigarettes. Make sure that your weight is good. If your clothing is too tight, that's important to loosen it up. And then if you use something that nature has provided us that is getting fantastic results with many people with heartburn, acid indigestion, and stomach problems like Tahiti Trader Noni Juice, well, then go for it. But Larry, people are going to be suspicious. Are there scientific articles that prove that this particular supplement or liquid drink can help people with the problem?
Absolutely, Dr. Bob. Science conclusively supports that Noni Juice can help you calm your digestive system, help maintain the upper GI comfort, which is really important. And it promotes natural inflammatory balance in the digestive tract. And then, of course, smooths digestive discomfort and makes the mucus thing work like it's supposed to. You're going to love it, folks. That's one of the things. And if you don't like it, let me know. I'll even give you your money back if you don't like it.
Well, see, that's the assurance I think everybody's looking for. If it doesn't work, I get my money back. What do you have to lose other than your acid reflux?
That's it. That's it.
It was pacing the floor all night long and all that suffering, not necessary. Go to TahitiTrader.com, TahitiTrader.com for the special for Tahiti Trader Noni Juice. We'll be right back. Well, you happen to be tuned into the largest and longest running radio health talk show in America, bar none. And that is in large part thanks to you, the listener, tuning in every weekend, same time, same place, and telling other people to do the very same thing that you care about, those people who you don't want to have conditions like acid reflux, heartburn, indigestion, stomach problems, and GERD. If you're just tuning into the show, that's the conversation. Warning over new side effects of these acid drugs taken by, upwards of 70 million people every single day, putting themselves at risk of debilitating headaches and the proposition of dementia over time. And that's just the short list, by the way. If you just go into, let's just do a Google search and just put in adverse side effects of acid blocking drugs like Prilosec and Nexium and Prilosec and Tagamet and Pepsid and all the other ones. Put anything in there and you're going to see, you'll be reading for a while. Let's just put it that way. And at the end of that, you might say to yourself, geez, if that's the case, I'll take the heartburn. Because the disease is not as bad as the potential side effects of the very remedies or treatments. Yeah, you may get relief on a temporary basis, but what if I told you there was a study in the British Medical Journal where researchers examined the prescription records of millions and millions of people over the course of almost 6 years, and they found an association between the use of this class of drugs we're talking about here, drugs that block acid, drugs that stop heartburn, drugs that affect GERD and stomach problems. Those people who took those drugs over 6 years had an increased risk, 25% higher risk of death. It's not me saying it. It's the British Medical Journal. So those drugs I just mentioned, Nexium, Prilosec, those proton pump inhibitor drugs, those H2 blocker drugs, it doesn't matter. the body doesn't like them. I mean, how would you explain in the British Medical Journal people on these drugs having a 25% higher risk of death unless these researchers knew something that we need to know? And that's exactly what we're bringing to you today. And we're not saying that there's a panacea out there at all. You need to participate yourself in this by making sure that you say, you know what? Gosh, I felt great an hour ago. I ate dinner and now I've got acid reflux. I wonder what I ate. Was it that brewski that I threw back? Was it the, was it the cheese? Was it the red meat? What was it that set me off? Well, until you figure that out, and you should ask those questions, at least know that you have something that's in nature, that's plant-based, that has no side effects, that won't increase your risk of death by 25% over 6 years if you're taking it. In fact, it'll do just the opposite. It'll increase your longevity and improve your health and wellness. We're talking about Tahiti Trader Noni Juice. Larry, I mean, when you read studies out of the British Medical Journal like this, it certainly is compelling, or at least it should be, to the end user of these drugs. They ought to be able to say, oh, my God, I didn't know. My doctor never disclosed it to me. I'm so glad that I learned about it on the Dr. Bob Martin Show, and that's what we're all about.
Absolutely, Dr. Bob. Most people just don't know. And their doctor ain't going to tell you. His job is to sell you these things. I hate to say it. And it's not to tell you about the bad things. Because those things, in his opinion, they're marginal, no big deal. But I agree with you. And I know that study you're talking about, 25% higher rate of death. Just think about that for a second. Now, there's no real need to have that kind of alarm if you're drinking Noni juice. I mean, folks, you will notice a difference. I mean, seriously, it'll help you. And what's it going to cost you? Flipping nothing. Look at what it's going to cost you if you stay on the other things. Not such a good outcome. That's the thing I say.
Mm-hmm. Now, I have to stick up for doctors here in general. Doctors they mean well. We have to give them the benefit of the doubt. Sure. They're doing what they were taught in medical school. That's their standard of practice. This is what they do. You have this symptom, you give this drug. You got that symptom, you give that drug. You got this other symptom that's caused by the drugs you're taking, you take another drug to counteract that one. Okay, so I get it. Most people know that drill. 60% of Americans are on one or more drugs for a chronic health condition. This is a chronic health condition in most cases because people are having this condition more than 3 months, which qualifies it as a chronic problem. Now, right, if you're just tuning into the program, please understand we're talking about Tahiti Trader Noni Juice, something you actually drink, something that nature provided that helps in this department of helping to remedy or mend the problem. As long as you make the changes in your lifestyle that may have led up to the problem, at least use something relief without giving you adverse side effects. The Tahiti Trader Noni Juice can be found at finer health food stores nationwide like GNC, Whole Foods, Sprouts. You can also go to TahitiTrader.com for more information. TahitiTrader.com. They also have a toll-free number you should be aware of. That is 800-842-5309. 800-842-5309. And if you visit the website at TahitiTrader.com, you can enjoy a very special price, not available elsewhere. You get the branded shot glass for easy measuring and their new book, Building an Amazing Immune System, free. That's a $20 value right there. So go to TahitiTrader.com for all the important information. The topic during this hour has been acid reflux, acid indigestion, stomach problems, GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, and how this latest article out prompted me to give a call over to Tahiti Trader to ask Larry Logsdon to join me on the program to talk about it. Doctors are warning about these side effects of these acid reflux drugs, from dementia to headaches to risking bone fracture when you're on these drugs. I mean, the list goes on and on. Look it up for yourself. Don't believe me. Just realize there's a ton of it. And people are helping themselves out and rescuing themselves by being their own doctor, by finding in nature something called Noni Juice. It's a fruit that helps repair the stomach and soothe the hot, inflamed, inflammatory tissue. And people are getting better while they're making the lifestyle changes that they need to make in order to not continue the process. And if you want to take advantage of getting the Tahiti Trader Noni Juice, they have regular and the island style. Larry, explain to me the difference between the two, if you can, shortly here. And then I want to give the final offer for people, motivating them to get to the product to help themselves out with their condition.
Well, thank you, Dr. Bob. The original Noni Juice, folks, is Noni blended with blueberry and raspberry, and it's wonderful. All the antioxidants you're going to need. It's the same product Dan, our caller today, has been using for years. It's a wonderful product. There are people who have really bad and need something even stronger, and that is our island style Noni Juice. This one here is just Noni, nothing else, and you'll have to blend it with some fresh water and drink it slowly because it's pretty potent. But this is the stuff that's going to get the results you're looking for. You're going to feel better. Guaranteed.
Check it out, folks. Tahiti Trader Noni Juice at Find Your Health Food Stores nationwide, GNC, Whole Foods, Sprouts, TahitiTrader.com to get the free branded shot glass and the free book, Building an Amazing Immune System. Go over to TahitiTrader.com for that, or find your way to a health food store. All right, ladies and gentlemen, stick around. Larry Logsdon, thank you so very much.
Thank you to come up.
Thanks for tuning in to Wellness Made Easy. Explore more natural solutions and exclusive offers at TahitiTrader.com. Until next time, take care of your health and keep moving forward.